Welcome to my presentation. I'm Zainab and I'm going to present you about science and technology in 19th century, 1820 to 1894. My topics which I'm going to cover are the Bell telephone, the germ theory of disease, lice and lightning, and the feminine braid, a 19th century view. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me start with the Bell telephone. Alexander Graham Bell's interest in speech therapy, which he acquired from his father and grandfather, led to the telephone. Now I'm going to share some facts about our inventor, Alexander Graham Bell. He was an immigrant. He was although he patented his telephone in the United States, he was not born in the United States. He was born in Edinburgh, Scotland, and at age 15, Bell left his native Scotland and went to live in London with his grandfather. There he acquired knowledge of the mechanism of speech and sound. After attending school, the 23 years old immigrated to Canada and then the United States. An interesting story about how he got his middle name was when Bell was at 11 years old. His father gave him as a present his middle name Graham, because he was jealous of his two brothers. Bell was also famous for helping those who were born deaf and could not hear. This is interesting because both his mother and wife was hearing impaired. That is because a childhood illness left Bell's mother mostly deaf, and his wife had completely lost her hearing from scarlet fever. Also, we all know that in 1871, Bell started teaching a phonetic system for the deaf, devised by Bell's father, Visible Speech Code, the teachers of the deaf in Boston. And lastly, although Bell awarded the first patent for the telephone, many others came behind him saying Bell stole their idea. So he has more than 600 lawsuits over the telephone patent. In 1876, he replaced the metal wrist by a metal membrane and found that he could reproduce any sound with it. The first transmission of a voice message happened inadvertently. His assistant, Thomas L. Watson, who was in a adjoining room, clearly heard that Bell saying, "Mr. Watson, come here, I want you." Then Bell talked to his father over the telephone in 30 kilometers. Around the end of the year, he had extended the length of this telephone line to 213 kilometers. Now I want you to listen the first recorded voice of Bell over the telephone. Yes. Now the next topic which I'm going to cover is the germ theory of disease. In the middle of the 19th century, some surgeons realized that doctors could separate disease from one person to another. Ignaz Semmelweis in 1847 decreased the number of cases of childbed fever by having surgeons wash their hands between the deliveries. Joseph Liston in 1865 went further and proposed using carbolic acid on patients' wounds during surgery. Doctors were not the only one who secreting disease, of course. John Snow, a doctor in London, noticed that cholera cases were clustered where people used water from particular sources. So he pursued the authorities and to remove the pump handle from a well at the center of after the longest outbreak area. The number of cases in that area dropped immediately. William Bott learned of Snow's success and repeated it. stopping a cholera epidemic in Bristol in 1866 by managing the town's water supply. When I say germ theory, the person that everyone thinks of, Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur urged French army surgeons to sterilize their instruments and their patients during the France-Prussian War of 1870. After the war, Pasteur began an extensive study about cases of diseases. He started with anthrax, a disease that affects both farm animals and humans. This is because another proponent of this time, Robert Koch, had already found that the bacteria that could cause anthrax in 1876. Pasteur first helped stop the spread of anthrax by proposing sterilization and burial of the bodies of animals that had died from it. In 1879, Pasteur discovered by accident that bacteria could be weakened. In their weakened state, they failed to cause disease but still provoked immunity. Pasteur, Koch, and others developed versions of varying degrees of effectiveness against many of the major communicable diseases of time: cholera, tuberculosis, tetanus, diphtheria, rabies. Today, the germ theory of disease is so entrenched that even diseases that not communicable, such as cancer, diabetes, and multiple sclerosis, are suspected of being caused by some germs. Yeah. The other topic I'm going to cover: lights and lighting. The production of light is the second oldest technology of humankind, probably coming about a million years after the development of stone tools. First, people used fire for heating and cooking, but also for the production of light. The simplest lighting device was the torch. The Romans developed a form of lamp that has no container, the candle. Candles made from tallow, beeswax, and beeswax continued to be major source of illumination through the 18th century. Gaslight was introduced in cities. Natural gas, or more commonly gas made from wood or coal, was piped to situate lamps and into houses. As a result, much of the 19th century is known as Gaslight era. In 1808, Humphrey Day developed the arc light, which eventually was put to several uses. Although the electric arc between two carbon electrolyses produced the brilliant light, it generated large amounts of smoke and heat and many other problems. So, despite that, despite this uses, arc light used in public places in Paris and London, but did not make it in the household basis of household lighting. The greatest breakthrough in the lighting came in 1879 with the invention of the filament lamp, or incandescent bulb, by Edison in the United States and Joseph Swan in England. The gaslight era did not last long after the electric lamp was invented, for it quickly displaced gas. Fluorescent lamp was developed in the 1930s. It consists of tube that is coated or on the inside with a fluorescent material and filled with mercury vapor. Next gen, the light of the future is expected to be electronic rather than electric. The last topic which I'm going to cover is the feminine brain in 19th century. Many great men of science had a low opinion of women. Aristotle, who used pure logic to infer that women had less teeth than men, but he didn't bother cutting women's teeth. He he said that women are passive and men are active, and he considered women as mutilated men. So does Darwin and Freud. And during the 19th century, many scientists were convinced that women had to be less intelligent because of differences in the brain structure. When I was researching about that, I wondered why when the scientists of this period, male scientists of this period, thinking about that, what women think. So I found that Charlotte Perkins Gilman said this about this topic. There is no female mind. The brain is not an organ of sex. Might as well speak of a liver, female liver. So, um, in this period, scientists thought that their female's brain was smaller, and it was so much like the gorilla or a child's brain, not like the man's brain. And and they thought the intelligence was in the frontal lobe, but after that found that female brain's lobes, frontal lobes were much larger. Then they changed their idea and they said it was the back. But in the early 20th century, scientists found that the size of the brain has nothing to do with intelligence. Displacing all those learned theories from the 19th century as per Nancy's. Women are generally smaller than men, so they have um, smaller brains, but not smaller in intelligence. This concludes my presentation. I hope I have been clear. Thanks for listening.